What if the very obstacles meant to break you became the stepping stones to your greatest achievement? In a small village, there lived a young man named Arjun. The village sat far from the nearest city. Arjun lived in a modest home with walls that knew every storm and a roof that sometimes wept during heavy rains. He was the eldest son, and in his village, that title carried weight heavier than any stone. But beneath his quiet demeanor, Arjun carried a dream so fierce it kept him awake long after the village fell silent. He wanted to study. He wanted to become someone who could change not just his own fate, but the fate of everyone he loved. Every night, while others slept, a single lamp burned in his small room. And in that dim circle of light, a future was being written. Life in the village was not gentle with Arjun. Each morning before sunrise, he worked in the fields alongside his father. His hands, meant to hold books, instead gripped tools that left them rough and calloused. By the time other students in distant cities were finishing their breakfast, Arjun had already completed half a day of labor. The nearest school was 8 kilometers away. There was no bus, no bicycle, just his feet, and the unpaved road that stretched before him. He would walk. Every single day, he would walk. When he finally reached the classroom, exhaustion already lived in his bones. His classmates came with packed lunches, new notebooks, and rested minds. Arjun came with yesterday's notes written on papers he had collected from wherever he could find them. Some students whispered. Some laughed at his worn clothes and dusty feet. But the hardest part was not their words. The hardest part was returning home each evening to see his mother's tired eyes. To watch his younger siblings look at him with hope he was not sure he could fulfill. To hear his father say, "Perhaps studying is not meant for people like us." One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Arjun sat alone behind his house, staring at the stars. His heart whispered a question he was afraid to answer. What if they are right? What if I am chasing something that was never meant to be mine? The next morning, as Arjun began his long walk to school, he noticed an old man sitting beneath the banyan tree at the edge of the village. The man was not from here, a traveler perhaps, with kind eyes and weathered hands that spoke of a long journey. Arjun tried to pass quietly, but the old man called out, "Young man, you walk with heavy feet today. The road has not changed. What changed inside you?" Arjun stopped. Something in the old man's voice made him pause. "How do you know something has changed?" Arjun asked. The old man smiled gently. "Because I have walked many roads, and I recognize the weight of doubt. It is heavier than any physical load." Arjun hesitated. He had never spoken his fears aloud to anyone. But something about this stranger felt safe. "I want to study," Arjun finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I want to make my family proud. But everything is against me. The distance, the work, the poverty. Sometimes I wonder if I am foolish to even try." The old man nodded slowly, as if he had heard these words many times before. "Sit with me for a moment," he said. "Let me tell you about the bamboo." Arjun sat on the roots of the banyan tree as the old man began. "In distant lands, there is a plant called the Chinese bamboo. When you plant its seed, something curious happens. You water it and wait. 1 year passes. Nothing. 2 years. Nothing. 3 years. 4 years. Still nothing appears above the ground." The old man paused, letting the silence gather. Most people would give up. They would say the seed is dead, that their efforts were wasted. But those who understand the bamboo keep watering. They keep believing. He looked directly into Arjun's eyes. And then, in the 5th year, something miraculous happens. The bamboo shoots up and grows over 20 meters tall in just 6 weeks. Arjun frowned. How is that possible? The old man smiled. Because for 4 years, while nothing was visible above the ground, the bamboo was growing beneath the surface. It was building a root system strong enough to support the incredible growth to come. He placed a gentle hand on Arjun's shoulder. "Your efforts are not wasted, young man. Every step you walk, every page you study, every difficulty you face, you are building roots. The world cannot see them yet. Perhaps even you cannot see them. But they are growing, silently and surely." The old man picked up a small bamboo stick from the ground and handed it to Arjun. "The question is not whether you will succeed. The question is, will you keep watering when nothing seems to grow?" Arjun held the bamboo stick, turning it over in his hands. Part of him wanted to dismiss the old man's words as a simple fable, but the story echoed in his mind. For years of invisible growth, roots building in the darkness. He thought of every morning he had woken before the sun, every kilometer he had walked, every night he had studied by lamplight while the world slept. Were these his roots? Had he been growing all along without knowing it? Arjun took a deep breath. Something shifted inside him. He stood up and looked at the old man. "I will keep watering," he said. The old man nodded. "Then you have already begun to grow." From that day, Arjun walked differently. The road was still long. His feet still grew tired. But something inside him had changed. He stopped seeing his challenges as obstacles. He began seeing them as roots. Seasons changed. Arjun continued walking, continued studying, continued believing. And then, the moment came. Results were announced. Arjun had not just passed. He had achieved marks that placed him among the top students in the entire district. His younger brother picked up a book for the first time. His sister asked him to teach her. Other young people in the village began walking that long road to school. This story reminds us of a simple truth. Your efforts are never invisible. They are roots building strength for the growth yet to come. Perhaps you too are in your season of invisible growth. Do not stop watering. Your breakthrough is coming. The light you are searching for is already within you, growing stronger with every step you take. Take care of your beautiful heart.